Have you ever wondered how one of the messiest dogs from many people's childhoods ended up becoming the perfect symbol of obedience, work, and even elegance? Well, the Labrador Retriever, now seen as the darling of families, was once the inseparable partner of fishermen in conditions that could freeze your very thoughts. And what if I told you that this docile and bouncy companion almost didn't exist due to a simple change in fishing habits? Or better yet, what if I revealed that, despite looking like the epitome of fluffiness and friendship, the Labrador has genetic secrets that would make even your cat raise a suspicious eyebrow? Get ready to dive into a story that involves rescues, in frozen waters, eccentric aristocrats, and a good dose of canine stubbornness inherited through the centuries. And stick with me until the end, because in addition to discovering the mysteries behind the Labrador's origin, you'll also understand 10 surprising reasons why a Labrador Retriever might not like you, even if it's wagging its tail at everyone else. Buckle up, or rather, leash up, and come with me on this curious and surprising journey. Stick with me until the end, because in addition to discovering the mysteries behind this breed's origin, you'll understand why it acts the way it does, and in the end, I'll even tell you 10 reasons why a Labrador might not like you. Before we dive into the most curious stories, let's quickly get to know the Labrador Retriever in numbers and facts. Origin: Canada. Category: working and companion dog. Size: medium to large. Average weight: males between 64 to 79 pounds, 29 to 36 kilograms. Females between 55 to 70 pounds, 25 to 30 kilograms. Average height: between 21 to 22 inches, 54 to 57 centimeters. Life expectancy: 10 to 12 years. Coat: short, dense, and water resistant. Official colors: black, yellow, and chocolate. Temperament: friendly, loyal, intelligent, and full of energy. Natural abilities: retrieving, swimming, and obedience. In short, the Labrador was practically programmed to love water, collaborate with humans, and carry anything in its mouth, be it a duck, a rope, or your favorite slipper. And now that you know the credentials of this friendly giant, let's go back in time to understand how it all began. Imagine a place where the cold cuts through your skin, the seas are rough, and survival depends on strength and partnership. It is in this wild setting of Newfoundland, an island in present-day Canada, that the Labrador's story begins. And no, it's not a story of luxury, it's one of sweat, fish, and hard work. Around the 16th century, British and Portuguese fishermen needed help to face the icy waters and pull in nets full of fish. For this, the St. John's water dogs emerged, direct ancestors of what we know today as the Labrador Retriever. These dogs were small, robust, with a coat so dense it seemed waterproof. They jumped into the sea without hesitation, helping to bring in nets, retrieving lost fish, and even saving people from drowning. A true partnership of life and death. But it wasn't until the early 19th century that English nobles, enchanted by the abilities of these four-legged workers, decided to take them to England. There, they began to selectively breed them to enhance their intelligence, obedience, and retrieving instinct, thus giving birth to the Labrador Retriever we know today. Interestingly, the name Labrador is a small geographical error. The first dogs came from the island of Newfoundland, but it is believed that, to simplify, or perhaps due to pure confusion, they were associated with the neighboring region of Labrador, and the name stuck forever. Another curious point: the Labrador's aquatic ability is so absurd that even today, they possess a unique anatomical feature: webbed feet, a subtle membrane between their toes that makes swimming easier. Their talents were so impressive that it wasn't long before they were used in other roles, from hunting companions on English lands to rescue dogs in aquatic areas. But of course, like any good origin story, not everything was glory. There were times when the fate of the breed hung by a thread, and, believe it or not, because of an absurd tax policy. If this story has made you more curious than your cat watching it back, subscribe to the channel now, because what comes next is even more unexpected. After centuries immersed, literally, in hard work, the Labrador began to conquer a completely different space, the hearts of families around the world. But this turning point didn't happen out of nowhere. In the 20th century, especially after the Great Wars, the Labrador's profile as a working dog began to be further refined. Now, it wasn't just physical strength. Their intelligence, gentleness, and incredible learning capacity caught the attention of sectors far beyond fishing and hunting. Quickly, Labradors began to be trained for noble missions, acting as guide dogs for visually impaired people, helping in rescue operations, sniffing out substances for public safety, and even participating in assisted therapies for children and the elderly. It was at this moment that the Labrador ceased to be just a useful dog to become a true symbol of companionship. And of course, pop culture didn't waste any time. Movies, series, and commercials further boosted the breed's popularity. Who doesn't get emotional remembering Marley and Me? Where a messy and adorable Labrador becomes an inseparable member of the family. Or the countless Labradors that appear silent, heroes in stories of rescue and loyalty. Furthermore, fame even crossed the doors of power. Several political figures and members of the British royalty adopted Labradors as their personal companions, reinforcing the image of the perfect dog: faithful, cheerful, and reliable. Thus, from a humble helper of fishermen to a movie star and real-life hero, the Labrador conquered its space, not only in homes, but also in hearts. And if you think this story was all victories, Wait until you discover the moment when the Labrador almost disappeared from the map. A lot more curious stories are coming up, so leave your like to support the channel. Despite being one of the most popular dogs in the world today, the Labrador Retriever once faced a critical moment in its history, one that could have changed everything. In the 19th century, back in its homeland, Newfoundland, the breeding of Labradors went through an unexpected crisis. In an attempt to protect the local fishing economy, the government imposed heavy taxes on dog ownership. And, to make matters worse, extremely strict animal control laws made it almost impossible to keep dogs as part of everyday life. The result was devastating. Many Labradors were sacrificed, and the breed began to become frighteningly rare in its own origin. If it weren't for the intervention of the English, mainly aristocrats and hunters passionate about the Labrador's ability and behavior, perhaps today we would be telling a very different story. It was they who took specimens to England, preserved the lineages, and with well-planned crossbreeding, ensured that the Labrador did not disappear from the map. But even after this recovery, the breed did not escape criticism. With its explosive popularity in the 20th and 21st centuries, irresponsible breeders emerged who prioritized quantity over quality, leading to health problems such as hip dysplasia, obesity, and even behavioral imbalances in some Labradors. Furthermore, being extremely sociable and energetic dogs, many Labradors ended up being misunderstood by families unprepared to handle their physical and emotional needs. This resulted in abandonment and a certain unfair reputation of being messy or difficult to train. Fortunately, with correct information and ethical breeding, the true spirit of a Labrador, intelligent, loyal, and loving, continued to shine. And speaking of mysteries, did you know that science is still scratching its head to explain some almost supernatural talents of this breed? Come with me to the next chapter of this story. Even after centuries of coexistence and studies, Labradors still hold secrets that intrigue science. These dogs possess abilities that go far beyond what genetics or training can completely explain. One of the greatest mysteries is the extreme emotional sensitivity of Labradors. Research shows that they can identify subtle changes in human set, such as chemical variations, caused by emotions like stress or sadness. This explains why Labradors are so effective as emotional support dogs, detecting anxiety attacks and even anticipating seizures in humans. But how exactly do they interpret these almost invisible changes? Science still doesn't have a definitive answer. Another impressive phenomenon is the sense of direction of these dogs. There are documented reports of Labradors that have traveled hundreds of kilometers to reunite with their owners, guided only by instinct. Studies suggest that they may use the Earth's magnetic field as a kind of natural GPS, an ability still poorly understood even by experts. And it doesn't stop there. The Labrador's genetics hide a powerful balance between physical strength and mental docility, a very rare combination in the animal kingdom. They are capable of performing complex tasks, such as water rescues, searches in rubble, and even assisting visually impaired people, while maintaining a docile and highly adaptable behavior. These natural gifts, combined with an extraordinary learning capacity, make the Labrador a true gem among canine breeds, a creation so perfect that it even seems magical. But it's not all sunshine and roses. Despite all these incredible abilities, the Labrador has characteristics that can challenge even the most passionate owner. Get ready, because in the next chapter we will list 10 reasons why a Labrador might not like you. And you might be surprised by some of them. 10 reasons why a Labrador might not like you. Despite being loving, intelligent, and super sociable, Labradors have their demands, and not everyone manages to win them over at first. Here are 10 reasons that might make a Labrador turn up its nose at you. 1. Lack of patience. Labradors are eternal puppies at heart. If you can't stand occasional mess, they'll notice quickly. 2. Routine without fun. This breed needs mental and physical stimulation without games, walks, and challenges. They get bored, and a bored Labrador is an unhappy Labrador. 3. Excessive rigidity. They love to please, but very harsh training methods can break their playful spirit. 4. Lack of space. Labradors are natural explorers. Living cramped in a small space without room to move can make them stressed. 5. Ignoring emotional needs. They are extremely attached to humans. Emotional distance can make a Labrador feel rejected. 6. Sedentary lifestyle. If you prefer the sofa to adventure, prepare for a disappointed Labrador. 7. Little social contact. Labradors love people, other dogs, cats, and even birds. Isolating them from the world is a big mistake. 8. Inconsistency in command. They need clear rules and consistency. Without it, they can become insecure. 9. Disregarding water. Labradors are passionate swimmers. If you don't like seeing wet paws around the house, you might have a small conflict. 10. Disregarding occasional mess. A happy Labrador can bring mud, leaves, destroyed toys, and lots of joy all together. Were you surprised? Well, know this. Understanding these nuances is essential to build a true friendship with this incredible breed. And speaking of friendship, next, we'll tell you why the Labrador has won millions of hearts and leave you with the question that will make you think. Don't go anywhere, and leave your pet's name in the comments. Over the years, the Labrador Retriever has proven to be much more than just a companion dog. It is a faithful friend, a tireless worker, and, above all, a true expert in transforming ordinary days into unforgettable moments, whether diving headfirst into icy lakes guiding people with admirable dedication, or simply lying silently by your side. This dog carries a sincerity in its gaze that few beings can express. But, as we have seen, it's not all sunshine and roses to win the heart of a Labrador. You need to understand its needs, its challenges, and especially respect its vibrant essence. And now, the big question remains, are we worthy of such loyalty? Or rather, what would you do to deserve the unconditional friendship of a Labrador? Tell us in the comments, and if you found the story of this breed fascinating, get ready. In the next video, we will delve into the mystery of a breed that almost disappeared, but that today is a symbol of resilience and elegance. See you there.